This audiobook is narrated by Chris Abernathy on 29th of March, 2016. Supply Chain Risk Management in Entomology Farms. Case, High-Scale Production of Human Food and Animal Feed. This thesis was written by Ilkka Taponen for Helsinki Metropolia University of Applied Sciences in the program Bachelor of Business Administration. Abstract. This qualitative research focuses on risk management in the supply chain of industrial entomology companies that are mass-rearing insects for human food or for feed for farmed animals. This research presents answers to such questions as what are the risks related especially to the entomology industry, what are the reasons behind the risks, and finally, how the risks can be mitigated. The industry has started to bloom only recently in the 2010s, meaning that the industry is still lacking knowledge based on historical data and scientific coverage of the field. This research is one of the first in the world that identifies the supply chain risks associated especially with the large-scale insect farming for human food and animal feed, and determines how the risk profile is formed. The novel nature of the industry reflects to many parts of the supply chain risk management. By the time of writing this research, the established networks and operators, together with standards and regulations, are still in the making. Even the biggest companies in the world are still only planning their large farming facilities. Risks like fluctuations of feed raw material prices are in common with traditional farming, but the main risks that insect farms are facing are related to the health of the animals. The knowledge of pathogens and parasites of insects is very limited. As the nature of the health risks is unknown, the mitigation must be based on precautions and preventive actions. What is alarming for the companies operating in the field is that even a well-managed risk control cannot give a high level of security simply because of the lack of knowledge. The industry will continue growing globally. When the industry gets an established foothold and the production and supply chain functions get standardized, the risk management can reach an acceptable level. Introduction. This research focuses on risk management in the supply chain of industrial entomology companies that are mass-rearing insects for human food or for feed for farmed animals. Mass rearing can be defined as production of insects competent to achieve program goals with an acceptable cost-benefit ratio and in numbers per generation exceeding 10,000 to 1 million times the mean productivity of the native population female. Rearing insects for scientific research, pest control, or with no high commercial goals are not included in the scope of this study. There are many things that connect the farming for human food and for animal feed. Firstly, by both ways the insects end up in the food chain of humans, and for this reason they fall under the same regulatory requirements. Exceptions to this are insect-based feed used for pet food and use for fur farming. Secondly, the insect species are similar, and they are farmed in similar facilities. This means that the supply chains are alike as well. Thirdly, from a business perspective, the two mentioned purposes are connected. To be profitable, both categories require high volumes to benefit from economies of scale, and they face similar challenges when entering the markets. For clarity's sake, the widely used term entomology farm is not used, as it refers to all kinds of insect rearing. Instead, when referring to mass rearing of insects for human food and animal feed, the used abbreviation is IFF, that comes from the words insects for food and feed. 3 insect species stand out when looking at what are the most commonly reared species by the IFF companies. The species are black soldier fly, Hermetia illucens, mealworm, Tenebrio molitor, and house cricket, Acheta domesticus. From the mealworm and black soldier fly, the commercially interesting life stage is the larva stage. A larva is the juvenile maggot stage of the insect.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?